Coming out of heavy hitters, Victor quickly secured his spot at the top of the Blitz meta. There's just so much value there, and he has strong advantages into the other tier 1 heroes. But with Part the Mistveil's drop, two things. First, an awesome new card in Goldman Estate, but also a new Illusionist, which is traditionally a horrible matchup for our Guardians. And once the dust is settled, I think he's still good. So today we're going over my Royal Victor Blitz deck for Skirmish Season 9. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, my flesh and blood friends. Welcome back to Dice Commando and Go Again, a fabulous cast, and thanks for tuning in for a continuation of the Skirmish Season 9 Blitz deck tech series. Today we are talking Victor Goldmane. Blitz is an awesome format and integral to Flesh and Blood's long-term success. With Skirmish Season returning in late August, the competitive focus on Blitz has returned. Every Tuesday until the start of Skirmish Season 9, I'll be covering a different Blitz deck tech. Now, our Dice Commando channel members, of course, have early access to these videos as they are uploaded. The first wave is already available, with another wave pending after the July 3rd BNS announcement. And hey, if James White approves, you should too. So I'll see you here every Tuesday through August for more Blitz content. And that's right, today, Victor Goldmane, the golden boy who came out of heavy hitters for Blitz in the top tier, one of those top 4 tier 1 heroes as I would put them. Now, he also got a really strong card out of Part the Mistveil in the expansion slot in Visit Goldmane Estate. So not only is this a Victor spec, but for one, as a blue that defends 3 by the way, create a gold token. Then if you control 3 or more gold, create that many might tokens, go again. So what you need to remember off this is, first off, Victor's ability. The first time you create a gold, draw a card. So this card backfills itself. So as long as you have 1 gold on the table, you can actually use this. Because remember, his shield counts as a gold, right? And by use this, I mean get the might tokens out of it. It still makes a gold, still draws you a card. That's okay. But one of the things that was frustrating me when I was trying to use this was I'd get it turn 0 or turn 1. And you'd only have your shield and then the one this made, and you wouldn't get the might tokens. And that's where it drove me to, that's right, use the Crown of Providence to make him Royal Victor Goldmane. And this card is very similar in many ways to Brute's card, right, which is Cast Bones. Now, obviously, it's not as good as that in like a, right, Cast Bones wins games, right, just absolutely flat out wins games. But Goldmane Estate does kind of a very similar thing. So really the question was, how do I work in this card into an existing shell? Now, before we get into the deck, I do want to put a couple things in context in terms of, if you're not familiar with how Victor plays, he has one slight disadvantage to some of the tier 1.5 heroes, in that Victor doesn't run many, and we actually are not going to run any D-reacts, right? So that's kind of a big deal. And part of the reason for that is Victor's not a defensive hero. And he also wants to win his clashes, and the vast majority of your D-reacts or your defensive tools, the vast majority of those are not going to help you win clashes. And it's a little ironic that, you know, the cards that you defend, his block cards like Trounce and so on, to let you defend, they don't help you win clashes. So when we add in yet another card in Goldmane Estate that fills some of those 0 or null attack slots, we have to be very aware of that. And as such, I had to make some sacrifices. So let's go ahead and bring up the list itself. So this is my Royal Main Estate Victor Skirmish 9. And what you see, that's right, he has his shield, counts as a gold, right? And so not only is it very good, but it counts as a gold itself. We are using Civic Steps. I finally come around on this because of my commoner performances. I think it's fine. At least in today's meta, most of the folks have Go Again anyway. Royal Crown of Dominion, Gauntlets of Iron Will does really good. Does really well against ninjas who want to like Ancestral you, because remember, this is it's easy to think about this as half. I don't know why in my head this was always, you know, next time it would be halved. No, it's -1. So Ancestrals are 1 - 0. So they hit for 0, which is, or pump by 0, or just don't pump. And then, of course, plating for your seismics, which you use quite frequently on this. Right, so the total pitch count, we have 22 blues, 3 yellows, of course, in his spec, right, and then 16 reds. So I'm on red-blue Chokeslam, red-blue Debilitate, and then red-blue Disable. Remember, Disable is the one that on Crush hits the arsenal, goes to the bottom. It doesn't blow it up, but it's still very, very effective. I'm on 1 Pulverize because it does things, and I'm on 1 Pummel. That's right. That's another miss card. We're on Spinal Crush, which is very strong for a lot of decks in today's meta. You're usually going to pull their armor out when you swing with this. Just last night, I was at an armory. I was able to do it. Turn 0, suck out everybody's armor, suck out their armor and a couple cards, and then, well, you get what you get. So, and then, they're on their back foot is my point. Okay, so Test of Strength and Trounce. Test of Strength, the gold token one, awesome. Trounce, I will be honest, it is hard. It's harder than you'd think to hit on Trounce, right? Which is probably okay. But when you do, so good. Right now, I'm on Red Blue Thunderquake. Last night at the Armory, I actually played 1 copy of Red Macho Grande just to see in the Red Thunderquake slot, just to see if I liked it. The answer was I actually did like it, because on the off chance that you would get it like turn 0 or turn 1 or something, it did quite a bit of work, right? You can still pitch to the Seismic, and then it generally pitch to the Seismic and then throw it. That's a lot in Blitz, right? To come in, dominate, and again, maybe you suck out armor that they probably wanted later or needed, and it does good, okay? So Golden Sun, of course, Buckling Blow Blue, Clash of Vigor. So this one is, I do like this one. The Vigor token is a big deal in many cases. This one being a 4 is a little weird. So if this was a slot, again, I think you need this to be blue, but this is a slot that if you don't like it being a 4, you get a little frustrated on the misses and the hits, you could do like another Wallop, another Thunk, something, well, not another Thunk, but you could do another Wallop or something along those lines. I'll run Cranial Crush, Blue Macho. I have 1 copy of Terra Sunder, that's main board. That used to be sideboard, but it's main board now. Running Thunk, this is the one that does Might, and then we're doing Wallop, that's the one that does Vigor. The reason we're on 1 Wallop and 2 Thunks is because this one just has lower attack. And then we, of course, have a major portion of the deck, which is Visit Goldman Estate. Now, from a previous version of this deck, I used to run Nothos, but we're now in a Wizard meta, and Blaze is like super, super, super good. So right now, my entire inventory is Oasis and then AB4. Okay, and I'm not running like the Lantern because I want to start with my shield to have that gold. Because a lot of like, if you look at your gold generation, Trounce and Test of Strength, well, those are blocks. So we're actually going to go take Test of Strength out against Wizard. Actually, last night, I decided I took Trounce out actually instead and ran Test of Strength just in case they had like a cheeky Scarf or Scar or something like that. So yes, I did run Test of Strength. And I took out Trounce, which is a little ironic, I grant you, because Trounce is almost guaranteed to hit in those type of situations. But again, just being able to get that gold and get the card draw, just in case they're trying to come in, it just made sense to me at the time. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I guess maybe Trounce, I don't know, every point matters against those Emperors and stuff like that. So, well, I wasn't an Emperor, but all right. Anyway, Oasis Respite, and then that's your package. So, in the past, we'd had a little bit of flexibility in terms of the sideboarding slots, but now with Blaze, we really don't. So this 40 is your 40, and we're not taking out Goldmane Estate because even though you're probably not going to be playing it, it does, because they have a window when you play it before you draw, right? So you're still technically down a card if they're doing it within that window. You're a lot of times just using this as a blue against the Wizards particularly, right? So a couple tips and tricks with this deck, right? Remember, this is not a defensive deck. You want to go hard. Now, we do give up 2 armor with Crown of Dominion. It's not irrelevant, but I'm very convinced that what we get back, being able to start with 2 gold on the table and then being able to immediately go up to 3 gold when we do Goldmane Estate, I'm very convinced that it's really good. In my humble opinion, I think it's very, very, very good. So this is the list. It's below. Give it some runs. It does pretty well into Briar. I'd say it's like 50-50 with Blaze. We'll see. I'm shooting this to be clear before the BNS in July. We'll see what comes out of that. I don't expect Victor to get any hits. That's why I'm shooting this before, but I'm thinking Blaze might take a hit. So we'll see how that ends up. But either way, you know, it would only improve from there, you would think. And then in terms of Briar, it's probably about 50-50 into Briar, and seems to do pretty well against Emperor. Okay, in terms of it. Now, I did mention you do have to be very careful. Dorinthea, Quicksilver Prodigy specifically, with no D-reacts, you have to be very careful on like their glistening, because like if they can get counters on their sword, you're in a rough spot. So just be very careful about that. Okay, so anyway, that's the list. Enjoy it, run it, and good luck in the upcoming Skirmish Season 9. Thanks for watching, and go Commando.